pray and ask that you be with us all throughout our programming. Thank you so much and welcome as we start off this morning updates. And starting us off, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, has strongly condemned the disruption of a worship service and the Anglican Church of Kenya. We team up in Othaya, Nyeri County, where former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was tear-gassed and his vehicles vandalized. In a statement seen by EBN TV, the NCCK described the incident as a deliberate, unwarranted and unprovoked attack on worshippers, saying the use of tear gas inside a place of worship was illegal, unconstitutional and a direct assault to the church and its freedom. The council revealed that the Othaya incident is not isolated, listing at least 9 other cases where police officers and goons allegedly disrupted churches across the country, raising concerns of a worrying pattern of intimidation against religious institutions. The NCCK now wants an unqualified apology from the Minister of Interior and the Inspector General of the National Police Service, Church and the religious community, and spirit interdiction, investigation and prosecution of all officers involved in the attacks on the churches during services. And again, former Interior Cabinet Secretary and moving on, former Interior Cabinet Secretary and Jubilee Party Deputy Leader Dr. Fred Matiang'i has strongly condemned the violent disruption of a church service at Wetima ACK Church in Othaya, Nyeri County, describing the incident as a dangerous assault on democracy and human rights. The chaos erupted on Sunday when worshippers, including former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, were reportedly melted with tear gas and live ammunition inside the church compound, forcing congregants to flee in panic. The incident has sparked widespread outrage and renewed concerns over the use of state security in politically sensitive situations. In a statement, Matiang'i termed the attack a grave desecration of a sacred place of worship and a blatant violation of constitutional freedoms.
Inaonekana wazi kuna mtindo ambao mimi leo nataka kuzungumza wazi. Yes. Ni mtindo ambao unapangwa na serikali kwa kuhangaisha viongozi wa upinzani, wa kuhangaisha wale ambao hawaelewani nao. Huwezi kuwa na kitendo kama kile tuliona jana kule Othaya without county security team ya Nyeri kujua ni nini ilikuwa inafanyika, kwa sababu National Intelligence Service officers wako mpaka kwa sub county. Kukiwa na kiongozi wa upinzani kama Mheshimiwa Gachagua anaenda kwa mkutano mahali 2-3 days mbele ya hiyo, wakuu wa usalama wa hiyo area wanajua kwamba kutafanyika mkutano wa aina hii hapa, na viongozi ambao watakuwa hapa ni akina nani na akina nani watakuwa na hayo maneno yote. Inawezekanaje basi kwa mkutano kama huo watu waingie pale waanze kutupatia kazi kwa kanisa na kuna serikali? Lazima walipata nafasi, walikuwa na habari mbeleni kwamba Mheshimiwa Gachagua atakuwa huko, ataabudu hapo. Saa hii nikisema wiki ijayo nitaenda kufanya misa Kisumu Central for example. What happened yesterday in Othaya, Nyeri is very shameful, honestly. It's unthinkable that young kids who woke up in the morning to go to Sunday school would be tear-gassed in the manner in which they are tear-gassed without cause. There is no crime they had committed. They were not in the wrong place. They were in the place they wanted to be in at that particular time. poor old women running around, away from tear gas and harassment is very, very shameful. And I've often said, for our political leaders, don't listen so much to the words they tell you, especially the ones in government. Look at their actions. Because how would a confident government do that? Because a government that's confident and has no problem with its population, with its people, why would they allow that kind of thing to happen? Okay, fine. Now, with tremendous respect, and I'm happy myself that the senior leaders of government, including His Excellency the Deputy President, whom I have a lot of respect for, and the Minister for Interior, have said agree with us that what happened is shameful and it's something that ought not to happen. Now, let's move to action. Let's see whether action will be taken and so on. Because that is what is going to tell us the sincerity or genuineness of this. Let's see what's going on.
And moving on, President William Ruto has defended ongoing coalition talks between the United Democratic Alliance UDA, the Original Democratic Movement ODM, stating that unity between the two political blocs could secure a decisive victory in the 2027 general election. Speaking during the UDA National Governing Council meeting at State House, Nairobi, President Ruto assured party members that their interest will be safeguarded as negotiations with ODM continue.
As you are aware, we have also, as we talk today, we have a broad-based government arrangement. Si ni kweli? Tulikuwa na matatizo, makelele, fujo, maandamano. Tukasema, in every challenge, there is a silver lining. And there is an opportunity if you look carefully. So in that challenge that we were undergoing, instead of focusing on the challenge, we decided to create an opportunity out of it. Today we have a broad-based government with our friends, the ODM party, and we have agreed that this broad-based has worked. Has it worked or has it not? And it is said, if it is working, don't fix it. Sindio? So what we have agreed with the leadership of ODM, that let us explore the option and the opportunity of having a coalition going into the next election. And it is because we want to broaden our base. Listen to me, guys. This election in Akuja, we want to win by a margin of between 2 and 3 million. Mnanisikia? Wacha nirudie. This election, the last election, we won by a margin of 200,000. 200,000. This election, we must win by a margin of 2 to 3 million. Ndio tuunganishe Kenya, tutembee pamoja. And I am very clear in my mind, there is a reason, there is justification for us to consolidate the country into one. Listen to me. The position where I sit, there is enough for every Kenyan. One does not need to miss for the other one to get. There is an opportunity for all of us to fit in one government. And therefore, I have no doubt in my mind that we have what it takes, not just to win the next election, but to win it resoundingly so that we can drive our transformation agenda into the future.
And on a different story, 2 people, including a local chief and a primary school teacher, have been killed in a suspected terror attack in Olugo Sub-County, Garissa County, triggering a major security operation in the region. Area Chief Abdifanta Gani and Olugo primary school teacher Stephen Musili were fatally shot in a brutal overnight assault that authorities believe was carried out by suspected suspected terrorists. And according to initial reports, the attackers first targeted Chief Gani, shooting him dead before setting his vehicle on fire in what police described as a coordinated and deliberate attack. The assailants then moved to a nearby residence where they opened fire on Mr. Musili, killing him outside his home. The killings have sent shockwaves through the local community, with the residents expressing fear and outrage of the growing insecurity in the area.
Hatujui leo feo tumesimama hivi tutalala wapi, kwa sababu mwalimu alitolewa kwa nyumba yake na kupigwa marisasi kinyama. Chifu wa eneo hili pia amepigwa risasi, ameuawa usiku wa kuamkia leo. Sasa sisi tunaomba security officers na tume ya kuajiri walimu TSC ishughulikie matakwa yetu na itupeleke mahali salama, itoe huku leo.
We need security. We need to be protected as teachers. TSC, please do something. Kwa sababu we will work on it. Tutaenda huko kwa TSC offices, hata kama tutacamp huko. We get.
In matters education, Cabinet Secretary Julius Migosi has called on school principals across the country to maximize available resources to ensure that no learner is left behind in the transition of grade 10. Speaking during a roundtable meeting on education financing in Nairobi, CS Migosi highlighted that the government has already released 50% of the capitation for the 2026 academic year, a move aimed at helping schools manage operational challenges while supporting needy learners' education. Stakeholders at the meeting welcomed the update, noting that timely funding and strong school leadership are crucial in achieving a seamless transition for learners. CS Migosi urged schools to be innovative and resourceful in ensuring all students, regardless of their background, access quality secondary education.
So if, for example, you have admitted 700 students and then you have 4 or 5 who have not paid fees or who do not have school uniforms, these 5 or 4 cannot make it impossible for you to run the school. So the principals need to support the directive of the government, and we are working with the TSC. And from today, data is being collected in the field. Should we find any principal who has returned a child home on the reason of them not having school fees or of them not having school uniform, action will be taken through the employer, the TSC, including dismissal from their jobs.
And President William Ruto has announced an agreement between the national government and county governments on the distribution of bursaries for students from underprivileged families. Speaking at State House Nairobi on Monday, President Ruto emphasized that while the responsibility of providing bursaries lies within the national government, there is a need to involve counties in ensuring equitable distribution at the grassroots level. The announcement comes as an Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migosi continues to caution school principals against violating the President's directive to allow all grade 10 students to enroll even if they have not paid school fees. CS Migosi reiterated that no learner should be locked out of senior school due to financial constraints.
We had a meeting with the Comptroller of Budget because that was the problem. We had a meeting with the Comptroller of Budget, and between the county governments, we were in a meeting with the governors and the national government. There was a requirement that the national government, because it is a function of the national government, that we have an agreement with the county governments. We have since signed agreements. The chair of education, how far are we? Just give him the mic.
We have finished the signing.
Yes.
And we have done everything.
For all the counties?
For all the counties, Your Excellency.
Very good.
It's just the control of budget we are waiting.
Now, what was required between the national government and the county government, we have completed. Now it is for the controller of budget to release money for counties to be able to carry out the function of making sure that no child in Kenya is left behind or does not go to school. You will disburse bursaries. And we also want to make it a resolution of this council that we have resolved that now the process of bursaries be actualized as the agreement between the national and county government has been concluded. Are we together?
And Colin Soyo, Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Teachers, NAT, has officially announced that teachers are likely to remain supportive of President William Ruto in the upcoming general election. Speaking during the NAT Nandi branch leadership elections, where indicated that the teachers union may back the president again, citing Ruto's genuine commitment to addressing challenges affecting educators across the country.
To sincerely thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya. Sisi kama walimu, tunampa kongole for the review of the CBA cycle. Then number 2, you know that promotion of teachers in this republic have taken another twist because every other teacher, as we speak here, has stagnated in one grade for quite a number of years. We made a request to the president. Instead of the 1 billion that promotes about 25,000 teachers, the president directed that an additional 1 billion be put in place to promote, instead of 25,000 teachers, promote 50,000 teachers. And that is where we are. So who are you not to say thank you? As a union, we are saying thank you to the president. Kenya Kwanza government, in the education charter, promised to employ 116,000 teachers in 2 years. As I speak now, ladies and gentlemen, President Ruto government has employed 100,000 teachers. Is that not a credit? Hiyo nikisema 10 bila break nimekosa nini? Nimekosa nini?
At least 15 students were injured after a fire gutted 3 dormitories at Matungulu Boys Secondary School in Machakos County early morning, leaving over 300 students displaced and destroying personal belongings, including books and study materials. Authorities from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, have launched an inquiry to determine the cause of the fire. While officials work to investigate the incident, parents have expressed concern over raising cases of school fires linking them to declining morals, drug abuse, and indiscipline among students.
Hii ni mambo ya indiscipline. Tunaomba tafadhali wazazi, mimi nikiwa kiongozi wenu, ongeeni na vijana wenu, ongeeni na wasichana wenu, wakienda shule wawe na discipline, wa maintain discipline. Walienda hapo kusoma, walienda hapo kutafuta their future, waachane na maneno ya drugs, waachane na maneno ya kusema ati we want our right.
Tungeomba wazazi waongee na watoto wao, hii mambo ya kuchoma shule iishe. Nimeangalia nikaona dormitories imechomeka mpaka chini. Hasara ile imekuwa ni hasara kubwa sana. Hata sijui kama sisi wazazi tutaweza lipia hiyo ni hasara.
And moving on, leaders in Rabai have called on parents to collaborate in ensuring that children receive quality education, emphasizing the role of community involvement in meeting school fees. Led by Rabai Member of Parliament Anthony Kenga, the leaders highlighted that education challenges can be overcome if parents work together with the national government, constituencies, development fund, and GCDF to pay school fees. Speaking at Ashika Adab during the disbursement of bursary checks to over 2,500 grade 10 students, Kenga revealed that a total of 46 million have been allocated for school fees, with 16 million set aside for incoming grade 10 students.
Baya, na wengi wao ni nyinyi ambao mnasikiza wengine. Watoto walikwenda grade 7, grade 8, grade 9. Na tukao tunawaambia fanyeni bidii wanangu, mkipita mtoto atawasomesha. Mlikuwa mnapatia moyo, soma kwa bidii mwanangu. Soma kwa bidii mwanangu. Ukipita utaenda mbele. Tulikuwa tunaambia hivyo, watoto wetu wakapita. Mbele hawaendi.
Huu wa fedha wa 2025-2026 financial year tunaenda kutumia milioni 46. Na sisi kama tulivyosema, wale watoto wote ambao wanaenda grade 10 tumehakikisha kwamba tumetenga milioni 16 na tukasema hakuna mtoto hata mmoja atakosa hii pesa ya basari, na ndio maana leo tunapeana hapa. Mimi niwaombe, Rais alitoa agizo juzi, niwaambie nisiwaambie, akasema kwamba hataki kusikia kuna mtoto hata mmoja amebaki nyumbani. Mtoto umepata school fee, unayo, aende shule. Mzazi una school fee, mtoto ende wapi? Yeye ametoa agizo kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wetu wanasoma, na wewe leo mzazi uweke mtoto nyumbani, itakuwa ni makosa. Ungoje mpaka assistant chief na chifu aja kubumburusha nyumbani, hiyo itakuwa ni makosa. Ni kweli si kweli? Ni kweli si kweli? Rais wetu apewe muhula wa pili, asipewe?
A major 1 billion irrigation canal project in Motithi Ward, Mwea constituency, is set to significantly boost rice production and enhance food security in Kenya by expanding the Mwea irrigation scheme by 10,000 acres. The project, being implemented by the National Irrigation Authority through 3 contractors, is expected to be completed by August this year. Once finished, it will increase the total irrigated land in the Mwea scheme to more than 31,000 acres, strengthening one of the country's most important rice-producing regions. Kelvin Chebukosi files the story.
A 1 billion irrigation canal in Motithi Ward, Mwea constituency, the project being implemented by National Irrigation Authority, aims to expand the area under rice cultivation and strengthens Kenyans' food security. Once completed, the canal will add an estimate of 10,000 acres to Mwea irrigation scheme, which currently spans over 31,000 acres. Farmers from areas such as Ngunga and Kumbiri, who have faced water shortages, are expected to benefit from state flow of water to their farms. Farmers in Motithi are optimistic that the project will unlock the potentials of their area. Peter Shige, chairperson of Mwea irrigation schemes, says the expansion will not only increase rice production locally, but also will help to reduce the national rice deficit, which currently stands at 700,000 metric tons.
Project iko sawa kwa sababu ni pesa zinakuja kwa scheme, na zikiendelea kupanua scheme yetu na kutuletea ile mambo mkulima anataka, sisi tuko tayari kulima mara 3 mara 4 ili wale ambao wanaleta mchele kutoka nje sisi tuweze kujilisha sisi kama scheme na Kenya kwa jumla.
Mimi pia ni mkulima wa mpunga, na kuna huu mradi ambao ulianzishwa na serikali, na huu mradi ni wa manufaa hasa kwa wakulima wa mchele, sababu huu mradi utaongeza maji, na maji yatakapoongezeka kutakuwa na upanuzi wa ukulima wa mpunga, na wale wakulima watafaidika. Pia kutakuwa na ongezeko la mashamba ya mpunga, na hilo ongezeko litasaidia wale ambao wanakomboa na wale ambao ni wenye mashamba.
The Motithi Canal project, supported by water from Thimba Dam, is set to completion by August this year, alongside other improvements like rehabilitation of the K3 feeder canal is expected to improve livelihoods in Kirinyaga and transform Mwea town.
Kipisa fanyiwa hiyo lining mapate maji watafanya haraka sana. Na hiyo mpunga haitakuwa watu wanaketi Nairobi wanasema watu wanataka mchele. Mchele itapatikana tu hapa kwa vile wakulima wako tayari kufanya kazi.
Kevin Chebukuz, EBN TV.
Economic and tourism activities in Chomfu constituency are set to receive a major boost following the construction of a new eco-tourism hotel at Ganahola, Chomfu by the community-based organization Big Ship. The modern designed hotel, built within a mangrove ecosystem, is expected to become a key tourist attraction given its strategic location along a popular water route linking two Sports Club to the Ghana Ola area. Leaders say the projects will not only promote environmental tourism, but also open up new income streams for the local community. Speaking during a site visit on Tuesday, Jovu Member of Parliament Badi Toli pledged to push for the construction of access roads to improve the transport and ease movement to and from the hotel. He said better infrastructure would make the area move more attractive to investors and tourists alike.
Project ya Big Ship ambayo imekuwa funded na World Bank through KEMSFED, na nataka kuchukua fursa hii kusema kwa mpaka saizi wanafanya component ya kwanza restaurant, kuna ablution block, kuna multipurpose hall na vile iko ya 4 ambayo ni library. Na hizi component zote zitaweza kutusaidia na kupanua hii sehemu. Mimi nataka kusema kuwa hapa pata provide kazi direct kama watoto 50. Tukiangalia something is better than nothing. Leo hata watoto wawili, ikiwa watoto wako 10, lakini ukiondoa wawili si 10 tena, ni 8. Kwa hivyo hivi sasa watoto ambao watakuwa wako ama kufanya kazi hapa watakuwa takribani 50 direct. Na mimi ningeomba sana watakaofaidika wawe ni vijana wa hapa mtaani, ndio ambao wataandikwa katika kufanya hii kazi yao. Coast National Polytechnic ambayo inafanya certification program. Kwa hivyo kwa hawa vijana wetu ambao tunataka ku-earmark kazi ya kufanywa hapa, kila kitu katika Kenya hii ya taka makaratasi. Kwa hiyo college nataka kusema yule ambaye atakuwa na interest yoyote ile ambayo ataka kusoma pale, mambo ya catering ama mambo yote, aende pale ajifanyie registration, asilipe hata ndururu. Mimi mbunge wenu Badi Twali mtamlipia hiyo.
If you're just joining us now, remember you're watching Morning Live here at EBN TV. My name is Jeffrey Kimayo Somba, and that story brings Morning Live to a short break. We are coming back with the newspaper review. Please stay around.
You are watching EBN.
Good morning and welcome back to EBN TV Morning Live. My name again is Jeff Kimayo Somba, and we are moving into the dailies. I've got the Standard newspaper, Kenya's board newspaper, and the Daily Nation. But before we go to the Daily Nation or even to the newspaper review, that I have to start with the Standard newspaper. There is a top story there, the untouchable. But before we get to it, I want you to give some highlights on the rights of our politicians, the excesses of a politician, and the backup, the constitutional backup. And we're starting off with the equality and freedom from discrimination. And this is Article 27. Politicians are equal before the law, cannot be discriminated against based on political opinion, party, or status. We have human dignity, and this is Article 28. Politicians must be treated with dignity and respect. We have 3, freedom of expression. This is Article 33, right to express political opinions, campaign, and debate. We have limitations on the same, that no hate speech, ethnic incitement, or violence. And for freedom of association, Article 36, right to form, join, or participate in political parties. And political rights, Article 38, gives politicians the right to campaign freely, run for elective office, or office if elected, participate in political activities, and seeks access to justice. And this is Article 48 of our Constitution. Politicians can go to court when their rights are violated. Then 7, fair administrative action. This is Article 7 of the Constitution. Protection against unfair decisions by state bodies, IEBC, Parliament, Executive, and 8, parliamentary privilege. And this is Article 117, freedom of speech and debate in Parliament, protection from action for statements made in Parliament, and 9, leadership and integrity, the obligations, Article 73 and 75. Leaders must act with integrity, avoid serve the public interests, and be of political opponents. Constitutional articles, and this is one, multi-party democracy, Article 4, Clause 2, Kenya is a multi-party democratic state. Opposition parties are constitutionally protected. Equality and non-discrimination, this is Article 27. Opposition members cannot be targeted for political beliefs. And 3, freedom of expression, criticism of government, Article 33. Right to criticize the president, government, and institutions protected. Political speech and freedom of assembly, demonstration, protest, Article 37, and right to peaceful demonstrations, picketing, present petitions to authorities, and freedom of association. This is Article 36, right to form or join opposition parties and movements. Political participation, Article 38, opposition members can campaign, contest elections, mobilize voters, and we have freedom from arbitrary arrest and detention, and this is Article 49. Rights of arrested persons, protection from unlawful detention, right to fair hearing and fair trial, and this is Article 50. Opposition figures must be tried fairly and impartially, and we have 9, the protection from abuse of state power, and this is Article 10. National values and principles includes democracy, rule of law, human rights, accountability, and we have neutrality of state institutions, whereby national security organs must be impartial. This is Article 238, Clause B, Clause 2B, and security agencies must be non-partisan, respect human rights and freedoms, independence of the judiciary, and this is Article 160. Courts are free from political influence, protect both government and opposition rights. We have independent body article, which is Article 88. ABC must conduct elections that are free, fair, transparent, and impartial. And key constitutional principle, we have Article 1, where sovereignty belongs to the people of Kenya. This means government power is temporary, opposition rights are permanent, political competition is protected by law. If you want this, or even we can also create a sample, or even before we move closer, or even move further from the theme, the kind of explainer that I've just given to you, it clearly explains why, if maybe you form a coalition in any way, or even you form a political party, maybe you are from the opposition, it means that you have the right maybe to be a politician. If maybe you decide to move whichever way in this country politically, this means that you have the right to do the same because you are protected. And maybe if you're not moving against or even further from the rights of another person who is doing politics, and maybe you're not supposed to touch their rights, you're not supposed to go beyond or even make some kinds of incitement to the other people. So that's an explainer that I gave to you, so that because I saw something so interesting on top of the Standard newspaper, and it's talking about the untouchable. We can try to record maybe 9 incidents where Gachagua was attacked in church. Remember that Gachagua was impeached, and he is the former deputy president of this country, and allegations were just leveled against him, and it came to the end of it whereby he was ousted from that position. It is politics, and it's the game of politics, and we have to know how the game of politics is played now. It is such a disrespect, or even it's so shameful for some key people in this country who maybe we may believe in, we may trust them maybe to guide us or even to propel this country to any destination that we may think of. But at the end of it all, we find that nothing is taking place politically, development-wise, or even health-wise. But yeah, the Standard is putting it so straight to the point that the untouchable. If you get a copy of the Standard, you'll see what I'm talking about. It is about two very key people, and I'll be reading a very small story concerning them. And we're talking of impunity, where two powerful Mount Kenya politicians, Murang'a Women Rep Betty Maina and Mathira MP Eric Wamumbi, are the center of explosive claims linking them to violent disruption of former DP Rigathi Gachagua's church meetings, as these disturbing scenes involving women and children emerge, and their alleged actions have made a mockery of the title honorable, while police inactions has reignited fears that some commanders may be acting at the beck and call of politicians with influence, not the law, determining who is questioned, arrested, or left untouched, raising hard questions about impunity and whether some leaders are truly untouchable. Remember, we've said there's no leader, even the government is not above the law. But we are looking at two people here, Murang'a Women Rep Betty Maina and Mathira MP Eric Wamumbi. They are very key in maybe disturbing the meetings that Gachagua, the former deputy president, has been holding since his ouster from that deputy president's position. And we're looking at a place because the Standard is putting it very clear that we have leaders who can be touched. We have leaders who cannot be touched, no matter what they do. And we want to ask ourselves the issue of impunity, the issue of law. Where will law come in? And how will impunity look like, if at all, when I mess being a leader or a political leader, there's nowhere I can be taken, or even there's no law or regulation that be taken against me, or even I won't be charged of doing any mess over this country. So I feel these two people, and I can also read, the alleged to use live bullets by the police did not break a single window glass, nor did anyone come out with gunshot wounds. Your alarm invited the police, who came in cruisers armed with AK-47s, and coincidentally they rescued you despite you hired goons pelting them with stones. And remember, the Standard is saying these two have been acting as the very main engines of disrupting every meeting that Gachagua holds. And we want to look at a twist of a story here, where Murang'a Women Rep Betty Maina is saying that the alleged use of live bullets by police did not break a single window glass, or did anyone come out with gunshot wounds. Your alarm invited the police, who came in cruisers armed with AK-47s. So I'm looking at a story at a situation whereby this lady, Betty Maina, Murang'a Women Rep, is talking of, maybe is trying to look at this situation that took place on Sunday last week. SCK Wawitima Church in Othaya, Nyeri County, that maybe it was stage managed. But my biggest question was, if at all I want to stage manage anything for maybe any sympathy, maybe politically, would I go to a church and make harm to young people, to old people, and worshippers who are attending church? Whereas freedom of expression, whereas freedom of assembly, and whereas freedom of worship gone? If at all a political leader can just go to a church meeting, it will actually on a Sunday, and they just melt tear gas canisters and live bullets, ammunitions on worshippers. That's very wrong. And maybe these are allegations, but I would not want to think that a key leader and a women rep would want or even purport that someone says managed all this. But all in all, it is politics, but the safety of citizens and worshippers should be taken and with the highest seriousness that it concerns. And goons converged at the home of Mathira MP Eric Moamumbi for briefing, then moved to Witima armed with AK-47 rifles and tear gas canisters before dissenting on the charge they had come to kill. Remember, these are two contradicting statements from Gachagua, DCP leader, and Betty Maina. We're still here to know the truth, and the truth will come out and shall know what exactly happened. Now, moving on to the second page of the Standard. Free education only in name as parents shoulder rising school fees. Yesterday, but when I overheard and I read something of Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki talking of a 92% transition of grade 10 learners, and this is just spoken as it is saying free education only in name as parents shoulder rising school fees, and it got my concern and attention that we are looking at that transition of 92%, and some few weeks ago we saw that 800,000 students had not reported to grade 10, and it's a worrying situation and a worrying truth, because we've also heard our president talking of you take your child to school without school fees, without uniform. And I remember, or even I know, the vitality or even the importance of school uniform, and again the importance of school fees. There is a feeding program, and if your child maybe is a boarder, even if they are not boarders, they are day scholars, they also need to eat something from the school. Then look at a situation whereby a child is taken to school without uniform, and again the child is taken to school without school fees. How will the stay look like there at school? Then we're looking at the truth of the matter, whereby it is just free education that we're just mouthing, or even we're just verbally expressing to our parents outside there as leaders. But when it comes to the reality of issues, because I don't imagine our principal will order 1,000 students in school, then they have got nothing to eat throughout the day. They are boarders or even they are scholars. So I think if maybe our leaders would think of doing something, I think we have a practicality of doing all this. We have a system of what doing this, and I think this is something that should be taken all through to education stakeholders, so that if any statement is pushed to our schools, they have to know the impact of the same. They have to look at the implications of the same, just not mere words leveling them to school principals. Now, despite promises of free education, Kenya parents face a rising cost of uniforms, fees, and admission levies. Weak oversight, capitation, shortfalls, and corruption force families to cover funding gaps themselves. Yes, so that's what I was saying, that we may just talk, but once we get into deeper part of it and knowing what exactly the logistics that we need for a student to be in school, and maybe for school to run smoothly and seamlessly, there are some things we just move over and walk over it shallowly and say that maybe if we say it, it will happen. But we also need to have the financial impact on the same, or even the financial touch, whereby you don't go to a shop, you want to buy school uniform, and you say, Dr. William Ruto, our president, said that we just bring, or even we just pick uniform here, we take our children to school. That will be such a worrying state. And education is not free in Kenya after all, despite government promises to ease the burden on parents. The Standard has established that from purchasing all school uniforms, paying fees, and even securing admission slots, parents are shouldering an increasing load. MPs expected to appropriate funds and hold the education accountable. Yes, we getting there shortly. We're coming back after maybe a minute.
watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
EBN TV cares about the growth of your business. To advertise with us, call 0725 386 501 or 0740 653 453. EBN TV, transforming your world.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world. You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
And welcome back. We are talking of education, and the MP is expected to appropriate funds, and old Education Minister accountable appear lacks, further pushing parents to age weak structures within the ministry meant to shield parents from unlawful and unnecessary levies are also ineffective, leaving families to fend for themselves. So I think education is a bit expensive here in this country, and it has been a promise of that we have free education, and it is not taking place. And from page 2 of the Standard newspaper, we see a picture of John Cheptoo-Kiri, 15 years, and she needs 30,000 development fees if we lock children from poor households out of school. Experts say nothing or noting that delayed and inadequate capitation forces schools to pass costs to parents. So it is so hectic to our parents and to the children transitioning to grade 10 outside the end. Page 3 of the Standard talking of a prison officers jailed for aiding escape of varsity attack terrorists. And Musharraf Abdallah, Mohammed Ali Abikar, and Joseph Odhiambo were involved in the Garissa University attack. The escapees were recaptured in Kitui County 2 days after their escape. The story you can read from page 3 of the Standard. And the story I had promised to give you is from page 4 of the Standard. Is power couple Ruto's weapon against Rigathi Gachagua? Murang'a women representative Betty Maina and Mathira MP Eric Wamumbi, and former DP has accused Murang'a Rep and Mathira MP of planning attacks against him. Maina and Wamumbi are considered to be Ruto's Mr. and Mrs. Fix-It in the Mount Kenya region. And they've always been mentioned in connection with chaotic incidents at church services and political meetings attended by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. In their defense, Murang'a women representative Betty Maina and Mathira MP Eric Wamumbi, who are wife and husband, appear to have detailed accounts of the violence, yet they have never recorded statements with police, nor have they been summoned to provide clarity to avoid investigations. On Sunday, Gachagua claimed that Maina and her husband were responsible for the attack at Witima ICK Church in Othaya, Nyeri County. We have got some machineries maybe that are used by politicians to maybe disrupt all that happens within the fraternity, within the compounds and the environment of any political opponents, or even towards any political leader. And these are very key people. And we are looking at a place where Wamumbi, Betty Maina, and Mathira MP Eric Wamumbi, they are very key engines to maybe disrupting Gachagua's meetings every place he goes. And we're looking at a place where I mentioned constitutionally, whereby no one, whichever leader we have around, no one is above the law. But we're looking at a place whereby these two very key people who disrupt meetings and maybe they attack worshippers from wherever place or Gachagua makes a meeting, we're looking at it at a point whereby these people, they've not even recorded any statements towards all this. And if you go to the top page of the Standard, it's talking of Guns confirms that the home of Mathira MP Eric Wamumbi for briefing, then moved to Witima armed with AK-47, and this is a statement from Rigathi Gachagua. So even if we are political rivals, even if we are political enemies, I feel there is a place we need to reach. There are some rights that we need to we don't need to violate. There are some boundaries that we don't have to skip, or even there are some boundaries that we don't have to go beyond. If maybe I'm your political enemy, I'm your political rival, please just answer me and me alone, not coming into the meetings that I'm holding, because you'll be affecting a lot of people, you'll be hurting a lot of people, you'll be harming a lot of people for no benefit. So anytime we do meetings around churches and wherever place, I think we need to be careful, because the stories that we're getting here and every time, they're not making good of a nation that has been labeled and branded as peaceful as our country. Churches now caught in political crossfire, page 5 of the Standard. Once courted by politicians, churches now bear brand of state-sanctioned intimidation and force. Clergy and rights groups say attacks threaten rights and violate the sanctity of worship spaces. So let's keep it as safe as it's supposed to be, as holy, as sacred as the place of worship it's supposed to be. Then we have watchdog role in question as MPs owed luxury retreat. Page 6 of the Standard, and I think the last one on the Standard. High Court suspends state legal deals after misuse allegations. Then more pain for employees as new NSSF rates set to come into force. So we've NHIF, we've NSSF, we've housing levy, and all that. Then more pain for employees as new NSSF rates set to come into force, and the mandatory monthly contribution for employees jumped to a maximum of 6,480 from the current 4,320. Analysts say the cumulative effect is a perfect storm on this possible income already stretched by SHA and housing levy. High pity. All right. Then moving on to the Daily Nation. We're looking at how learners who cannot read are progressing to junior school, and that's the story I'll be reading, or even digging deeper from page 2 of the Daily Nation. And we're looking at a cover-up, and this is after attacks on former deputy president. Authorities still vows turn action as perpetrators walk free. Still, there are people who cannot be touched. Whatever they do, they are just set free. They go scot-free. But can a country be developed? Can a country move well? If at all I mess politically, then there's no action that is taken against me. And I'll be giving some of the incidents that has been taking place as far as Gachagua's disruption or meeting disruptions is concerned. And we have 8 of them. And the first one is November 2024. Suspected Mungiki gang members attack Gachagua in Limuru, Kiambu, December 2024. Police officer arrests tear gas disrupting meeting at Shamata, Nyandarua. The third one, April 2025. Gunfire as Gachagua security men battle guns at PCA in Mwiki, Nairobi. Then the fourth one, February 2025. Guns disrupt as Gachagua's crusade and Kamukunji grounds, Nyeri. Then July 2025. Police guns confront Gachagua allies at AIPCA in Kigumo, Muranga. And we have the sixth one, 2025. Armed youths attack former DP in Nairobi on return. from a political tour in the US. Then November 2025, this is the 7th one, police tear gas DCP leader during by-election campaigns in Narok town. Then with November again 2025, guns disrupt a Thanksgiving service at PCA Kariobanki North, Nairobi. Then January 2026, we've got a rowdy youth attempt to block Gachagua from IPCA ground in Gatundu South, Kiambu. Then the last one just happened like a day ago. And this is January 2026. Guns and armed police raid STK Church in Othaya, Nyeri, forcing the ex-DP to flee. So if you look at the chronology of events here, you find maybe it is something well planned, it is well orchestrated by maybe people we may not know. And I think this is destabilizing a country, and this is destabilizing the level of peace that we enjoy as a country. Moving forward again, we need to be very careful. And the storm over Gachagua gun attacks and the clergy has condemned Sunday's disruption of a church service attended by former DP Rigathi Gachagua and demanded an end to the desecration of places of worship by police officers and guns. And what unfolded at SEK Witima grieves us deeply. God's children were at within the very place, and the shorter them children also struggle to breathe where prayers should rise freely. And this is Anglican Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit. Page 2 of the Daily Nation. We have survey reveals the dire state of grade 6 literacy skills. You're in school at grade 6 and you're not able to read and learn. And a report paints a worrying picture in public primary schools, where 51.3% of grade 6 learners are unable to read and comprehend a grade 3 appropriate English story. And half of grade 6 learners cannot read and comprehend a grade 3 level English story or solve numeracy problems at the same level, and the report has found raising fresh concerns about the quality of basic education. So we also need to invest so much in education. And the story that we've been following from Trufena is that Trufena's tree agging record officially confirmed. We've seen a lot of people, and this is a joke, I've seen a lot of people agging trees after the very originality of Trufena some few months ago, and we're looking at it. Trufena's record is officially confirmed. What about yours? If you've been arguing a tree maybe for 72 hours, for 80 hours, for 100 hours, and what if you're arguing a tree, what is the message that you are sending to the people, or what kind of awareness are you sending to the people if at all you arguing tree? Trufena's was all about environment. Then what about yours? Page 3 of the Daily Nation. From D+ to a B-, mother of 2 revives nursing dream after 15-year pause. So you can also go back to school if you need. And in 2010, Frida Jorop scored a D+ in a Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE examinations, cutting short a nursing dream as the grade fell far below the cut-off points required to admission to a medical institution. Last year, that 5-year-old mother of 2 returned to sit the same national examination. This time she attained a B-, a big improvement 15 years after our first attempt. The results have reignited ambition to joining the nursing profession. So read the story from page 3 of the segment. Just down, there's a story, state to increase primary school funding. And the government has announced plans to increase funding for free primary education FPE program starting the 2026-2027 financial year to cushion schools against rising cost of operation. A question before we add something on top of what they've been giving to the primary school funding. can we look at it, the capitation may be affected, and another funding to be done before we are getting into the promises first. Then after the promises, we are getting into blunders, because the promises are made, but fulfillment is never met. Then moving on, I think the last story, this is church and political leaders condemn Gachagua attacks. And security officials have offered no information regarding their investigations into previous attacks on a former deputy president. And the storm over the Sunday attack against former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua intensified yesterday as clergy and political leaders demanded urgent answers over the repeated assaults and the apparent complicity of the police. The attack at Utimaisiki Church in the Othaya, Nyeri County, which left congregants terrified and traumatized, is the latest in a series of politically charged incidents that have raised fears of calculated campaign of eliminations ahead of the 2027 elections. And page 6, Matiang'i, Kenya is on the path to anarchy, and this is lawlessness. And I think what has been happening, maybe from Gachagua and another political leader, it's a clear indication that our president, William Ruto, when he ascended to power, he's been talking of anarchy. And maybe to quote this, when the anti-finance bill was being protested against by the youth in 2024, June, July, around that place. And that is when he talked of maybe the young people trying to misbehave and maybe coming into a place of lawlessness. But Matiang'i is putting it clear that maybe if things keep taking place as they're doing, we are taking this to a place of anarchy, and we feel that we are not supposed to go to that direction, because we are very key leaders. We have ourselves citizens. We need to observe that all takes place around this country, and we have to stop and oversight all this, and we have to block anything that takes place over this. And I will win 3 million votes in ODM pact, says Ruto. Not reading much. This is very clear that the merger we were talking of yesterday within ODM and UDA party, I think it is confirmed. They're talking of if this pact is made, they'll win by 3 million votes. The second person will be behind by 3 million votes. A political joke. Then UDA pushes pensions for governors and ward representatives. And President William Ruto's United Democratic Alliance, UDA, has proposed retirement pensions for governors, speakers, and members of county assemblies. The party's National Governing Council, NGC, on Monday directed National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheruiyot to draft legislation to formalize their scheme. President Ruto said the proposal aims to protect county leaders from poverty and living office. However, critics note it could add to taxpayers' burden by sustaining the lifestyle of politicians who already receive sustainable pensions. When are we relaxing? When are we resting as a country? Because these are MCAs and governors who will, UDA party or UDA promises pensions over them. They've been also getting pensions. They want to be added on top of the same. And getting back to what we are doing this morning, we also look at the issue of NSSF moving higher with almost 2,000 above what has been paid. The payment has been, the payment has been 4,320. It is moving up to 6,480. So it is burden after burden, burden after burden. Where do we go as a country? And the last story, page 8 of the Daily Nation, inside ODM's Linda Ground bid to shield its strongholds. A story you can read from page 8 of the same. And I think that story from ODM shielding its strongholds brings morning life to an end. But before you go, we want to thank you so much for watching our programs. We thank you so much for being our viewers and audience. We don't take it for granted, but you taking your time to watch our news, to watch our programs, We thank you so much for your support. My name is Jeffrey Kimayo. Somba. Coming up shortly will be your friend today with Reverend Felix Kavoy, and we wish you a good morning and all the best in our subsequent bulletins and programs.